Welcome back to the dish. Hi, Luann. How are you?
Hi, Mark. I'm doing great on this Friday. How are you doing today?
Real good, real good.
Good.
June 13th already.
Oh, Friday the
2025.
13th.
Yeah, Friday the 13th. I guess it's the only one all year, my wife told me.
That's what I heard today,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Which is interesting because normally you do get a couple of
Two or
Friday
three.
the 13th.
Yeah, three. I think she said there was three coming up. I don't know if it's next year, maybe. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So I suppose that means that's why our soaps are wonky, huh? Because
Yeah,
it's Friday
the soaps
the
were a
13th.
little, both Young and the Restless, A Bold and Beautiful ended on interesting terms at
Yes,
the
you
end
did.
here.
Yep.
To keep
I
us.
thought we were going to be further along today
I don't-
podcasting, but we're
yeah.
not. But
They're-
we'll chat about what has happened.
Yeah, they're keeping us riveted over the weekend, so we can't wait until we tune in.
Yeah, I know. Dang it. We're supposed to do that on Fridays.
I know.
All right. So today, Luann, we had Danny and Kristine were back. It's been a long time since those two have been on the show.
Yeah, it's been a long time. He's been on concert tours, and Kristine has been with him. And fortunately for them, they were able to run into Phyllis today.
Well, lucky them, right?
Yeah, lucky them. And, Daniel came up. He was happy to see them. And I was surprised. It's like, I wonder what the purpose is for bringing them back all of a sudden. But maybe it's just to irritate Phyllis. And she sure gets in their faces, doesn't she?
Yeah. I love Phyllis.
Yeah.
You either love her or hate her, but I love her
know.
character just because
Yeah.
her character's good on the show just because she's somebody that's always kind of stirring it up, you know.
She's stirring
I
the
like
pot
that.
all right. And I give Daniel and Danny credit because
Yeah.
they let her kind of go. They hold her, they hold back. But then there's a certain point it's like, okay.
That's enough,
Usually it's
yeah.
Daniel. It's like, okay, Mom, that's enough.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, she's either trying to play matchmaker with him or the kids or whatever. Always meddling in something.
Yeah.
Or her career.
Exactly. And I thought it was funny when she was telling them that she got invited to
I know.
Aristotle Dumas' party. And then Kristine says to her, so who did you have to bribe? I thought that was good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Who'd you pay off?
Yeah.
Everyone who is someone, now we can name them off, but everybody who is someone, the main story is Dumas, as you mentioned, but so
Aristotle.
everybody's getting invited to France to by Dumas for some big reveal that we're all going to find out
Yeah.
about.
At his French chateau.
Chateau.
Yeah, in Nice, France, and yes, who's who there
The
that
who's
has
who of Genoa City.
that has money. Like when Phyllis was talking to Tessa, and Tessa, oh, you're going to that party, and Phyllis was saying to her, well, are you invited too? Like, what would you be invited for? And Tessa said, no, I'm not one of the rich ones. No, I'm not invited, but I've heard about it. So yeah, and then other guests are being included by chance, like Audra, she got in on it, and Phyllis, squeezed her way in through Audra, and Amanda, through Amanda. Yep. And so, and then Nick asked Sharon to join him. And so you've got some other that guests that weren't really invited, but they'll be joining. And then you've got the Newmans, the Abbotts, they'll all be there. And the Winters.
You know what they'd say about that party, Luann? In the military world or police world, they'd say, you can get them all with one hand grenade. Because they're all going to be in one place.
Yeah, so you wonder about that. There's something that's going to happen, though.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a reason why Aristotle Dumas is bringing them all together. And, because they're all, like in today's episode, they were all like at Nate's house, or maybe they were at Devon's and Abby's too. I can't tell which house they were at, but
They all look the same.
they all look the same. But they were kind of talking about who they think it is and why he's bringing them, and why would he invite Damien after he fired him? So it's kind of like they're all wondering what's going on, and I'm looking forward to next week.
Me too.
It'll bring some excitement to Young and the Restless, and maybe there'll be a murder mystery, maybe something happening. Maybe.
I'll tell you, they need something. That
They
show,
need something to-
it's it needs a spark.
Yeah. Yes. After all the home remodeling that's been happening,
Right.
and guitar lessons, it's kind
I
of
know.
like, okay,
It's
we
just
need a
like,
little something
come
more.
on.
Yeah. Yeah. So this will be good. Something to anticipate.
It's turning into the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah. That's true. Too funny.
But yeah. I mean, you and I have talked about that, but it's just they need to pick it up, and they've got the right characters. They just need the storyline. I mean,
Yeah,
you've got
they
some
need
great characters.
Yeah. Instead of everybody, switching jobs and
I know.
taking over this company or
Doing that, they need
Yeah.
a good old fashioned
Murder.
kidnapping or
Or
murder
kidnapping,
or something.
yeah.
Hostage situation.
Right.
So what's your take, Luann? Dumas? You think is he after Chancellor Winters or Victor? Those are the three most likely candidates.
yeah,
Could be something else.
Yeah, I don't think, because he's already kind of hinted through Amanda that he's not interested in Winters.
Right.
So perhaps Chancellor, and he's been trying to make connections with Billy, but I don't think that's really happened yet, because
Right.
he really doesn't talk to anyone.
And Billy's convinced that he's got an in with this guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Just like Phyllis does.
Right.
He
Yeah.
will see me. And
Right.
then, so perhaps it is Victor, that's.
I don't think it is.
Who, you don't think so?
No.
That he's coming after?
No.
No?
I'm going to hold that thought for our
Okay.
prediction segment, though.
Yeah. But I would gear it towards Chancellor then, that
Would you?
perhaps, or maybe it doesn't have anything to do with Chancellor or, Newman's or Victor. Maybe there's another whole different reason why he's bringing them all together, and we'll find out once they're all there together.
Yeah. The research department found late this afternoon that Dumas might be a character that's coming from Days of Our Lives. Have you seen this?
No, because
That he's coming from Days of Our Lives, and he did an interview with some soap podcast or paper or something, and he said that he'll be making his debut on the 16th, so that's next week.
Yes.
So
because when we've been talking,
and I think that's Dumas. He wouldn't even indicate, Luann, that he was going to be Dumas, but everybody's speculating because the timing's right?
Sure.
We know
that would make
this Dumas
sense.
character's coming. So
Yes, that would make sense. And where did you say he's coming from? What show?
Days of Our Lives soap. I don't know if he got written off there or he's just
that'll be
not
'cause
cast
I'm
there anymore or what. But
I'm familiar with a lot of the characters in Days of Our Lives because my friend watches that show faithfully. So when I'm with her traveling, we'll watch Days of Our Lives, and I'm familiar with some of those
you need
characters.
to get her converted. She needs to
I
become a CBS soap person like us.
Yes. We were talking, and a couple people in the last couple of days. Remember, you and I in the last podcast, we said, could it be Tucker McCall? And we both said no. I don't think.
Well,
it would
did you
be
hear
him.
what Victor said about Tucker?
Yes.
Supposedly he's in prison somewhere
In India.
In India.
Yeah. So then
Which-
you kind of wonder, it's kind of interesting that he brought that up because Chelsea and Lily both brought that up in the last couple of days saying, hey, I've been thinking it was Tucker McCall. And then they finally said I don't think it is. And then it was interesting what Victor said. So you wonder, will they somehow, go to try and rescue him? I don't think Devon would,
No.
even though he's his son. But it's interesting that they brought him up too, that, they were talking about him a little bit.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's going to be good. I think, I don't know if they're going to tie this into a current, a current character situation, or it's actually just going to, which they could use it, as we've already mentioned, they could use a new storyline, unless this is going to be a situation where they, just spin off a completely different storyline, which would be good.
Yeah. And, I think that we will see when, because it was interesting in the previews, it was Jack and Diane and I think Kyle there, and I can't remember who, maybe it was Billy standing with them too. And Aristotle Dumas' assistant is telling them they need to go through this maze. It's like they have to have different, what do you call it? different challenges to get through. So it's kind of like, so this could
reality
be
show now?
Yeah, it could be something more than just you're all coming to a party and you're going to have drinks and, hors d'oeuvres and relax. It's kind of like, no, you're going to have to work for this. You have to pass this challenge first before you get further.
Wow.
So that was interesting. And then Lily kind of said something yesterday and today, in today's episode. And in the preview, she said, well, I think there's more to this than what we thought. And so and they kind of left it like that. And she has brought up some hints kind of where yesterday's episode, she said, we know some things about Aristotle and not some other things, but she said, I feel like I almost know him. And to me, that's kind of a hint too, that, we could talk about in some of the predictions that,
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's move into that.
Okay.
So let's make some predictions.
Okay.
But I also want you, Luann, I did this with Terry yesterday on the other podcast, I want to know if you had what's happening on the show, what's currently going on, what would you do with the storylines?
Okay.
Well, we can do both.
Yes. Yeah.
So
my thoughts are, because they brought a lot of characters back during last year, during their 50th anniversary and everything. But one person we didn't see was Lily's ex-husband. And he's been off the show for a while now, Kane. And I wonder if, he's been gone long enough. And he was kind of a swindler or crook, too. He had a shady past a little bit. I mean, he was a good husband to her, good dad to their kids. Loved
I can't
them.
remember exactly how that ended.
Yeah, he was a little shady because he was doing things with money. If it was money laundering, I don't remember. But, in this time that he's been gone, could he have made some money and all of a sudden he's rich? I don't know. But it was just some different hints that are coming from Lily, that it's kind of like, okay, would this be something that we should pay attention to? So
I think that's actually really good. I did, Luann, read something, and it was actually quite a while ago that he was going to make a resurgence on the show.
Oh, okay.
Now, not recently, but
Yeah.
I do think that I can see that, because when I try to reach for, I'm trying to reach for old characters that they could bring back. And that probably would be near the top of the list. I agree with you. I think that's a good prediction.
Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully next week they will, show who it is.
Yep.
Or maybe they'll keep the storyline going longer, and we'll see just the back of this person, this man.
Oh no!
Would that be awful? It's kind of like
do that on
leave
a
us hanging
Friday and
another
then torture
week.
us through another weekend next Friday.
But it's interesting how they were on a train, so it's like, well, will there be a murder mystery on the train, or on in that, like I said, will there be different challenges that he puts all of them through, and
Wow.
and then see who's remaining, and we'll see.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good. I like that.
Yeah.
So what would you do with the storyline?
Well,
Would you do anything differently than that?
yeah, because say it might be Kane. Now, if Lily's there, because Lily's been getting friendly with Damien, they're still feeling each other out, but they're
Not literally though.
right. But if not literally, they're still just business partners.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Just friends. But because he sees Damien, and Damien was working for him, and then he fired Damien, and there was a question like, why are you bringing Damien back, to Nice, France, if he was fired? But, if there was something happening, I could see where Damien might be in danger, because he isn't one of the core characters. He's just been brought on. He's made peace with his mother, Amy, and Lily and he are just starting to get friendly. Would it be something that they might put him in the middle of this murder mystery, or that the writers could direct it that way, or who out of the group would they torture, or make because I don't think they're gonna. If there is a murder mystery happening, it's not going to happen with one of those main characters. And Sharon and Phyllis have already had their test. That they went through, and could it. And Victor already did too. He had to deal with Ian.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. What would you do?
You don't think they're going to bring Ian back from the grave, do you?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, I don't either.
But you never, because we didn't see if Ian died.
I know, we never saw that. That's why I asked.
We believe Jordan did, but but bring it back to Aristotle Dumas. When they're going in there next week, wouldn't it be great if where it could be Nikki, maybe they challenge, something with her, or bringing Jack and Victor together to do some things with them, maybe, too.
Who else could it be? I'm trying to think of any other evil characters that have been around that have been absent for a while. Can you think of anybody else?
No, I can't.
I can't either.
Other than Ian and
I was
Jordan.
trying to think of that guy. There was a guy that was a swindler, and he was. Oh, it would be Chelsea's mom's. That crazy her mom. Remember her?
Yeah. Yeah.
Her husband.
Oh yes.
I can't think of his name right off the top of my head, but he hasn't been on the show for a long time. But he swindled everybody back in the day.
Yes.
So that'd be another one. But I think it's somebody more dangerous than that. Or I like.
I think so too. I think so too. And it will. It's. Well, what will he present to them or discuss with them? Because is he going to come out right away? Doing something to hurt them? It's like you said, you're bringing all the people together in one place. This would be the place to shoot a grenade.
One hand grenade.
But why is he bringing all of them together? It's like,
what's the common denominator?
What's the common denominator there? And why does he want them all to see what he's going to do to that one person? Or, do
you think that's what it is? Did he indicate that?
I don't know. It could be.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. That's what I would write.
If he's after one person kind of thing, or I think he's got a story to tell. Yeah,
or will he pit people against each other somehow? Through his challenges, he'll be pitting them against each other, and it brings out the worst side in them, and they kind of do it to themselves, whatever.
If done correctly, Luann, it could be a hell of a story. But you got to make it interesting.
Right.
I had one other storyline I wanted to ask you about, and that was Mariah and Tessa.
Yes.
What's the story? And I saw it and I don't remember because it was some time ago. But what's Mariah's story?
Well, remember the last podcast, we weren't sure because she's just been torturing herself since she got back from that business trip. And we thought that maybe she had a one-night stand. And she shared with Sharon this week, no, that did not happen. Yeah. But then we're seeing little flashbacks.
With some old guy in the bar,
yes, right? And it's not...
I shouldn't say old. He's probably not as old as I am.
I'm sure he's, right. And it did not look like Ian. And she would have blew him off right away. But you see little flashbacks where he's saying, oh, you look like you could use a friend, or you're lonely. Or is she reminiscing back when Ian did that to her?
But the guy looks different. You're right.
He does look different.
They showed an image of the guy.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe I missed something. So that's all they're giving us right now is what you're saying.
And she, she said to Sharon, she said, no, I did not have a one-night stand with somebody. But she said, I'm just not ready to talk about it. But she had lightened up this week. She was willing to talk to Tessa a little bit, but not share that. And Tessa's wanting more information. It's kind of like, I still need to know what's going on. And Mariah's just had flashbacks. That's all. We'll see.
That's what I wanted to check in about and see.
We'll see.
I still think something's going to happen, though, Luann, between Tessa and
her.
No, not her.
The baby?
Phyllis's son.
Daniel.
Daniel. I still think something's going to happen.
You think so?
There.
Well, that could happen. It's just, if Mariah keeps,
that's what I think. That distance
giving her
is
the
going to
cold
push
shoulder.
her towards Daniel.
Yeah,
and that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it would bring
I don't know if it's a problem or not. It is for somebody.
It would be bringing a whole set of different circumstances too.
Right.
For them.
Right. Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts?
Well, I like you said, I am really looking forward to next week. I thought I could tell towards the end of today that they weren't going to make it to France. I knew that.
I know.
But then when I see next week, it's like, okay, they're on the train. Looks like Lily's there. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens when all of these people are brought together and how Aristotle Dumas will present himself and present why he brought them all together, and to see what the outcome will be, what, if there is a murder that happens, or because I think it has nothing to do with I want to take over this company, or
I agree. I think
take
it's something
you out.
else.
I don't want.
Else,
yeah,
too.
he wants to take out somebody, and then we kind of have to say why. What?
Right.
Why is he wanting to take that person out? So hopefully there'll be some answers next week.
And some fireworks.
Yes, fireworks. Yes.
Yeah.
Young and restless fireworks.
That's right. Okay. All right. Until we dish again, keep it sudsy.
Oh yeah.
And we're out.